Hey everybody, this is Roger. This is a video amendment to my previous video called Homosexuality is All Natural, Baby. There are a few points I failed to cover that I think are important to be mentioned. Of course, the homosexual debate is a deeply complex one, and every point can't be addressed within YouTube's time limitation, and I doubt this will be the last words I say on the subject. There are many variations of sexual attraction. Attraction isn't limited to a man being attracted to a woman or all combinations thereof. There is a wide range of fetishes that people enjoy. Like our basic sexual attractions, fetishes are also a confluence of nature and nurture, but mostly nurture. We can safely say this because there are many fetishes today that didn't exist even 100 years ago, such as balloon fetishes, where people like to be rubbed with balloons or pop them, or stranger fetishes like the one in which a person likes to be trussed up like a turkey and pretends to be basted and baked. These are real psychological issues, and many people with these strong and often atypical tendencies can't achieve arousal or orgasm without the aid of their fetish. Fetishes, like any behavior, isn't inherently wrong. Certainly there are fetishes that we as a society find repulsive, like rape, for example, but the act in and of itself isn't wrong. We make a moral value judgment as a society on the right and wrong of any behavior or activity based on the influence of a person against any other's free will. This is the only line of reasoning valid when determining the right or wrong of any sexual activity. We must define a fetish to separate it from the more basic hetero and homosexual behaviors. Fetishes are mostly nurture, that is to say, psychosomatically learned. Heterosexuality and homosexuality are the foundation with which we build up our sexual lives. They are mostly nature. I say mostly in both cases because there are exceptions of each instance, and neither are black and white in design, but rather on a scale. Yes, because of severe trauma, there are cases where one that is naturally heterosexual will feel compelled to choose a homosexual lifestyle. One common cause is rape. A naturally hetero female that is severely traumatized by this vile act can sometimes develop a deep, irreparable revulsion from male sexual activity. Thus, she will only seek female sexual partners because they are non-threatening to her. Often, women who suffer such trauma refuse to be penetrated, as with dildo or fingers, by their partner because of the very real sense of violation and emasculation. This is an example of homosexuality induced by nature, but mostly, sexual gender preference is a natural phenomenon. When one is born, we are born with sexual body parts and sexual instincts. That is, a proclivity for a particular type of partnership. These two are independent variables, and one doesn't have to agree with the other. To oversimplify, think of our sexual instinct like a dial on a radio. To one side of the dial, we have heterosexuality, and to the opposite, we have homosexuality, and in the middle, bisexuality. Somewhere on that dial, your sexual inclinations are set. For most of us, we are set in one direction of the dial or another. Our sexual body parts are independent of our sexual tendencies. Our sexual instincts give us our base attraction for a particular gender or combination thereof. These instincts are derived from evolutionary reproductive notions. Your basest instinctive attraction for someone is derived from the fact that your body wants to reproduce with them. Your sexual instinct isn't cognitively aware of your sex. It only knows that the candidate you are attracted to would be really swell to have sex with in order to make babies. Homosexual attraction, though an anomalous mutation, is a function of our reproductive instinct. The fact is, for homosexuals, their sexual instinct doesn't realize that the partner their body is choosing can't make babies with them. If our sexual instinct could make that determination, then there would be no homosexuals. In my previous video, I failed to mention that homosexuals can reproduce. This isn't beginner sex ed, people. This is advanced sex ed. Obviously, a fertile gay man and a fertile gay woman are plenty capable of creating babies. My point was that they were less likely because of their sexual preference to attempt to procreate. Thank you to everyone who pointed this out. The Friendly Geek, in his veritable wisdom and often benevolent generosity, educated all of us in his video response to me that the anus is an exit. Yes, I can't disagree with that. That is indeed where the waste leaves our bodies. Why do gay men have sex in their anuses? Well, because it feels good. You see, there are a lot of nerves down there. If you've ever had to defecate really badly, I'm sure you can recall that it feels pretty good to get it out. and it's meant to feel good. If it hurt to have a bowel movement, or if we had no sensation to have one, our species probably wouldn't have made it very far. So our bodies make it feel good to use the bathroom, so we're inclined to get rid of poisonous waste. But this only answers part of the question. Gay men also have anal sex because it feels good to get your penis rubbed in tight places. And by the way, homosexuals aren't the only people to have anal sex. Most Christians fear homosexuality because they can't empathize with it. To many homophobes, homosexuality is unfathomable. Many make the joke that homophobes are closet homosexuals that are afraid to come out of the closet. This is, of course, mostly wrong. Often it is because of fear of the unknown that homophobes dislike gay people. And of course, it's incomprehensible for a purely heterosexual person to understand the sexual instinct to want to have intercourse with someone of the same sex. I am not attracted to men whatsoever. I can't fathom the earnest instinct to achieve arousal at the notion of sex with another man. Instinct is hard-coded in our genes. Conversely, a truly homosexual person can't fathom the instinct of attraction for someone of the opposite sex. Their sexual instincts don't work that way. But you don't have to be afraid just because you can't physically understand it. We can rationally understand homosexual behavior the same way we understand our own personal sexual interests. Simply put, your attraction to someone is no different than another person's attraction to someone. There's no question of morality here. It's all very understandable. Yet, for one reason or another, people don't want to comprehend that gay people are just like them. It's interesting to me that religions detest and deride homosexual behavior, but among the moderates of those religions, they advocate tolerance and understanding across religious lines. It seems to me to be a bit hypocritical. Plus, I suspect secretly religious people really don't want to tolerate other religions. They just as soon see an opposing religion disappear as they would the gays they fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. What someone does in their bed, on their time, with consenting people and in private is quite simply none of anyone's business. See y'all later.